recap of your markets on this Friday, the 14th day of March. What a week it was for the cattle markets this week as records were broke left and right as the cattle complex just continued to climb higher all week. Starting off with the feeder cattle, the Missouri Stocker formula, based roughly on a 550-pound steer, set a new record at 360.30 on Friday. The CME feeder cattle index, based on an 800-pound steer up through the 12-state feeding region, set an all-time new record high on Friday at 282.72. Feedlot cattle trade, quite impressive this week. Big gains there. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments. First, we'll hit some of the highlights from the cattle auctions around the state this week. When all's said and done, going to end up with about 37,000 head through the markets. Demand this week, especially for any calves that had flesh conditions suitable for grazing, was just absolutely outstanding. Taking a look at some of the bigger stick-out drafts, over 20 head at the auction barns this week. 25 head of 478-pound steers at Joplin Regional Stockyards, 427. 42 head, 548-pound steers in Joplin, 387.50. The weighted average price statewide on those light 5 weights this week, 375. 272 head of 570-pound steers sold at Ozark Regional Stockyards in West Plains at 382. Windsor Livestock Auction, they sold 23 head of 622-pound steers at 357. 21 head, 708-pound steers at F&T Livestock Market in Palmyra brought 323. The average price statewide on those light 7 weights this week, 299. A full load of 761-pound steers at Lolly Brothers Livestock Market in Macon, 303 and a quarter. A load of 811-pound steers at Kingsville Livestock Auction, 285. 120 head of steers, averaging 924 pounds. Callaway Livestock Center, 265.75. Taking a look at the heifers, 41 head of 525-pound heifers sold at Windsor Livestock Auction on Wednesday at 351. The average price statewide on those light 5-weight heifers at 330. Lolly Brothers Livestock Market, they sold 2 full loads of heifers, 745 pounds, 283. The average on those light 7 weights this week at 270. That feeder cattle market at the auction barns a full $10 higher. Some spots a 15 to 20 higher on some of the lighter weight calves, again suitable for grazing. Taking a look at the box beef cutout values, choice closed the week at $318.27. That was up $3.37 for the week. Select $306.32. That was up 52 cents for the week. Volume on Friday, 93 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The choice select spread at $11.95. Negotiated feedlot trade for the week. Waited till the late hours on Friday, and I'm sure there's some more trade that took place after the 2 o'clock cutoff date. But at that 2 o'clock cutoff time, 26,681 head. Live sales from $2 to $208, mostly all at $205. Dress sales, $320 to $330, with most of those sales falling around $325. Futures markets. For the week, live cattle were $152 to $290 higher. Lean hogs, 73 cents to $205 lower. The feeder cattle, $305 to $548 higher. On Friday, live cattle, April, $203.17, up $1.12. June, $199.35, up $107. And August, $196.70, up 75. Feeder cattle, March, $281.97, up $1.75. April, $281.20, up $122. May at $282.65, up $112. Lean hogs for April, $1 higher, $86.62. May at $89.20, up $40. And June, $96.30, down a dime. Turning our attention to the grain markets at the elevators around the state this week. Soybeans and corn both lost a bit of ground. Soybeans were 5 to 6 or 3 to 9 lower for the week. Wheat was 6 to 16 higher. Corn was 6 to 10 cents lower. On Friday at the elevators in the St. Louis region, corn 463 to 464, Kansas City at 418 to 448. Soybean bids In St. Louis, 1025 to 1028. Kansas City, 961 to 1011. Wheat bids in the St. Louis region, 543 to 562. Kansas City at 537. On the Board of Trade, March corn closed Friday 8 cents lower, 445 and a half. May down 6 3/4, 458 and a half, and July at 467 and a half, down 4 3/4. Soybeans for March 2.5 higher, 9.99 1/4. May up 5 1/4, 10.16. July up 5 at 10.30. Wheat contracts March 545 3/4, down 1.5. May at 557, down 5 1/2. July 573, down 5 1/4. Soybean meal for March closed $1.40 a ton lower, $298.90. Soybean oil for March, $41 even a hundredweight, up 22 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Friday. This is Tony.